Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you'd like to hang out in between videos, come check out the Discord. We're also doing exclusive content over on Patreon. We've got a schedule up in the community tab, but we're doing things like competition shows, K-dramas, and content from groups here on the channel, like BTS. We're actually in the middle of In the Soup right now, but today we are doing something extremely different for the channel. Today is the finale of the BTS deep dive, and it's a super bittersweet experience. But the deep dive ending is always kind of that experience for me. It's sad because we don't have any more new music from them in their official discography. Yes, we still have plenty of covers and OSTs and collabs to get through, and we are definitely doing that. But the official discography is wrapped, and it means we're going to be moving from a everyday kind of thing into a more weekly to maybe a couple of times a week, depending on our other series that are going on. Mainly Run BTS and the stuff over on the Patreon. But yeah, so it's sad to kind of transition out of that, right? Out of BTS has been kind of the daily companion for me through the channel for the last 4 months, as we've been going through this. And before we get too far into it, I should put on the playlist here. I have a playlist of some of my favorite songs that we've listened to through the deep dive. I tried to pick one from each OT7 album, and get a vibe for what I enjoyed from it, from each one. Obviously non-exhaustive, but the idea that this deep dive is ending is a shame. But at the same time, I have so much music now that I just absolutely adore. And I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about my overall thoughts about the deep dive, what I thought of BTS before we got into this, what I thought of this whole thing, what my impression of where they started and where they got to, and a whole bunch more. So I apologize if this is a little on the rambly kind of side of things. I am not working from a script, and I've never done a video on this channel where I haven't been directly reacting to something before. So this is all going to be very new for me, and I hope it's not too boring. But yeah, to start things out, let's kind of talk about what I knew of BTS and what my kind of preconceived notions of the group were going into this, right? Obviously I had heard the name. I had heard maybe a song or two. I think I had heard it a piece of Dynamite, maybe. And I had heard I had heard Mic Drop, and I had heard RM's Joke before we started the deep dive. And it was kind of weird because I had always heard BTS as being known for very poppy things, the Dynamite Butter kind of era of things was when they started really getting name recognition in the States. So I had kind of assumed that they were mostly a very poppy kind of group. And then I had heard Mic Drop and Joke, and I was like, excuse me, what? And I knew that they were very skilled rappers too, right? I knew that was a part of them. I wasn't sure if it was a one-off, but those songs alone just made you go, oh, okay, they got skill. But going into the deep dive, I was a little apprehensive, right? For a couple of reasons. One, the really poppy style I do but if it had stayed in that kind of lane for the whole time, I was worried I'd get bored of it. Or if there wasn't a whole lot of room for that to change. But mic drop kind of gave me some hope that there'd be some changes throughout there. The other reason that I was a little apprehensive coming into this deep dive was that I had heard a lot of things about Army Online. That there was a portion of the fan base that could be very defensive and protective of the guys. And through the guide and through, talking to all of you in Army, that like I began to understand why. And like what the group has faced in terms of adversity, and like why they are the Army is deeply protective of BTS. But I was worried that like if I shared my full true opinion on the group as we went through the deep dive, that maybe there would be some animosity or some like resentment for that opinion. And so I was a little concerned going in, right? But I found almost immediately, if not immediately, that like the Army that has been in my comments, who has been in Discord, who have been helping me plan this whole journey out, have been like some of the sweetest people I've come across, and have been so kind and supportive, and like they understand that like I'm not trying to put their group down if I don't particularly vibe with a particular song, that I think that everything I've listened to was extremely well put together, that it was just sometimes some of the individual songs weren't to my taste. And like I was floored by how accepting you guys all were throughout this whole process, and like how excited you were for me to find out more about BTS. I got a lot of comments about how you guys enjoyed the process that we built for this deep dive. I do want to give like a huge shout out to the Discord and for helping put this planner together, to put this huge spreadsheet of content together for the deep dive, and get all these lives, these music videos, the choreography, the lyrics, everything kind of put together in one place so that I could do this. And I really like to get to know an artist both personally, like their personality and their music, and see all the different facets of the performance, because I feel like it helps me connect to it deeper if I know what the lyrics are saying, if I know what the message is, what the intention of the choreography is, what they're like performing live on stage, how they are off stage, and doing things as a group. Like all those kinds of things help me connect to a song better. And I am so glad like that you guys have been down for that, right? Like I know like the most popular way of doing reactions is kind of just doing the music video and maybe a lyric video and just kind of calling it at that. That's not particularly how I enjoy doing things. So to see the like really positive reaction to it was really nice. But yeah, so I was a little worried going in, but like that worry was like extremely unfounded, and we found some extremely kind people, and the musical journey starting from right away was like a really fascinating. So like let's kind of transition into talking about some of the albums as we go in here. And the thing that kind of surprised me right away was that like the early albums, that being No More Dream and or not No More Dream, Too Cool for School, or Are You Late Too, and School Love Affair, kind of like I group into that kind of territory of their earliest albums, this kind of different era, um, which it was like a lot more hip hop heavy, right? There were B-sides that had different sounds to it, like particularly Coffee, which we just finished listening to, which is one of my favorite tracks in the whole deep dive. Is that like it was a lot more old school hip hop kind of inspired, and like they were really honing in onto that sound in their early years, and like you could feel the energy of them as if they had their backs to the wall, like that they were being hounded by all sides, and they had their guard up, and they were really kind of aggressive in their old school hip hop, and like dissing the haters and like clapping back at people who were not giving them the respect they felt like they earned and needed. And there's this kind of raw hunger in these early albums that I thought was really cool, right? Like it's just kind of like there's some level of, you don't typically get these kinds of diss tracks early on in most artists' careers, but like they came out the gate swinging in a lot of cases, which was really like, it just gave a very particular energy, and I'm glad that I started with their earliest albums, like that I went in chronological order, because then you kind of start to see as it goes further on into like the Dark and Wild era, the Wake Up, and like Most Beautiful Moment in Life, which is I think the next real iteration. Dark and Wild and Wake Up kind of feel like a transitionary period a little bit, where they start to like get into the more heavily artistic kind of phase of their career that it seems like they really start to touch on in the Most Beautiful Moment in Life, where they really kind of dig into some of those deeper themes. I feel like RM really started to get into his more philosophical writing phase. Suga as well. Like some of the like Walian 52, and some of those other kind of tracks on those middle albums were just like totally took us into a different place. Like Fake Love, like I'm not sure if Fake Love was around that era. I forget which album Fake Love was on. But like Fake Love, Black Swan, that kind of artistic title tracks, and the start of the BU stuff really like brought a different flavor to the group. Like it felt like they were really growing up right in front of your eyes. They kind of transitioned out of some of that anger. Granted, some of that was still there. They were still getting the disrespect that was like completely unfounded as they were doing this, but like you could tell that they were starting to move beyond it and push their artistry into their music a lot more heavily, and like I don't know, it felt like the depth of emotion in these early, like middle to early albums really changed around that point. Oh yeah, Rain, one of my favorites. Like it's very interesting because like Rain and Coffee are two of my favorite tracks from BTS like ever, and they're very early on in the album, and they have a very early on in the discography, and they have a very different feel from like the overall theme of those albums, but still so good. Yeah, man, I think for me, I was already invested by the time we got to the beautiful moment in life, but I was like starting to get more like into the territory of being like obsessed around that point. We really started to get to the point where I could start picking out members. I could start feeling like I knew who was who. I knew what their voices were like. I was starting to work on finding a favorite. I don't think I had found my favorite until much later. I had, kind of narrowed in on a few, but I don't remember exactly when it was that I picked V as my bias. I think it might have been around when around Stigma. Um, but the ugh, sorry, losing my train of thought in this like amazing song as we're going here, and I may take a drink break here. Yeah. So I don't know. I think their musical journey from this kind of really raw young anger into this more like melancholy and reminiscence on the meaning of youth in their society, and starting to take on some more like political messages in the middle, into getting into that kind of more poppy era where they were looking to infuse some happiness into the world and bring something of a brighter sound and a brighter feeling with their music. And it just goes to show that like they were constantly thinking about the meaning behind their songs, right? It wasn't just cleanly packaged pop music designed to sell millions of albums, right? Like they had a point, and it sometimes that point went counter to what their society was talking about at the time, right? Things like the music video behind Spring Day, the idea being that they fiercely care about their message is one of the things that drives me back to them, to continue to listen to their music when we're not doing the deep dive stuff, and why they like I will throw on songs from them in the background all the time. And the other reason is that I am a sucker for a group that appreciates their fans, and their staff, and like the way that they treat people on and off stage and in and out of content, right? Everything I've seen from them so far has been really, really wholesome. Even when they were like extremely young and like making some content that I was just, or like some music that I was just like, ooh, that's a tiny bit questionable, but it was of the time and they were very young, right? Like even then, they realized when like some of their lyrics weren't as good as they wanted to, and they updated it, created a new version, right? Or they apologized for it and they learned from it. Like the maturity to handle things that came up to them without deflecting or not accepting the responsibility for it was like extremely cool, right? Like they didn't go oh yeah, we just didn't know any better, or oh we're sorry, and just leave it at that and then do it again, right? They said, okay, we hear you, we understand, we're going to change it, we'll do something about it. And then they did, right? And that action speaks a lot to their character. Um, the and then like I said, the closeness with Army, right? And I I feel weird sometimes about being uh, a straight man in a male group's fandom like that, like being a stay or being Army. But I do consider myself Army, right? And it's not like, I think the idea that there's this like acceptance of them, of their entire fan base. They don't kind of go, oh, you're here, but like you're not our core fan group, so we don't care about you. Like the idea that I think there was a video where Jin was singing to an older member of the army as part of like his pick for the audience member from the show, is so heartwarming, right? Like it's not, there's no discrimination from age, race, gender, creed. Army is Army to BTS, and like that's so lovely. I think the sense of community, acceptance, and belonging that they have fostered is awesome. Do I think that there's probably places online where that might not be as apparent? Probably. Like there is always a loud minority when you get into a famous group. Fans are not a monolith, and some of them don't behave as well as you would like them to. But the beauty and kindness and overwhelming positivity that I've gotten from all of you has been so heartwarming. And like I hope it's been clear that I've like absolutely adored this journey, and that I think all of the guys are fantastic. And that, you know, I can count on maybe one hand the songs that I was like, oh, these aren't for me. Out of their hundreds, well, I think it's like 150 plus tracks. Let me pull up our deep dive planner. Because like, yeah, I think, yeah, we're well over we're at 374 tracks, and I can count on one hand the songs that are like, I'm not feeling this one. So that's extremely impressive, and I know I'm rambling and just kind of talking off the cuff here, but I think that the fact that they could go through this, the fact that they spent all that time prepping to make sure that Army had content while they were in the military, to make sure that they were doing solo projects so that they could maintain their artistic like creativity and do things that they wanted to do individually before coming back as a group. I think all of those things just kind of show this maturity and care for their fans. I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna miss this journey a lot. I think I'm really gonna miss this journey a lot. To go through all of this, and then go to a period where we're only getting into covers and collabs and stuff like that. It's gonna be cool. I'm excited as hell for the post dive. Like some of the coolest content that we're gonna see is gonna be the post dive. But I do feel sad that we're not gonna get new like OT7 music for a while yet, right? I think next year probably, But it's going to be a bit of a waiting game, and I bet like Army's just kind of sitting there going like, yeah, welcome to what we're dealing with. But yeah, so to kind of wrap this part of the video up, I'm sitting in this kind of space in between thrilled and grateful and sad. To kind of like move on from there, let's talk about some of my favorite songs from the deep dive, right? This playlist that I've got here on the screen is my favorite song from each of the albums as it stands right now. I think each of them kind of has other songs on them that I'm an absolute fan of, but these are the ones that really hit me the hardest. And I think it's just kind of like this, in a lot of cases it's a sense of optimism. It's a sense of like these kind of like emotional conveyance, right? Like that's the theme of these songs that I feel like unifies this playlist together, is that like there's a very specific feeling that each of them hits you with. If I had to pick a favorite B-side out of the whole discography, I think it is a toss-up right now between Coffee and Magic Shop. I think it might be Magic Shop though. That song, I don't know if you guys remember the reaction, hit me so freaking hard, and I couldn't explain it. It just did. It like the video for that, like it's one of the songs I remember just couldn't keep my shit together and made me tear up pretty good. I remember 0 O'Clock got me too, but that is the one that sticks out to me, that just had the most profound effect on me emotionally. Whether for like happy emotions or sad emotions, or just like the overwhelming kind of amount of feelings that I got from it. Magic Shop is just that song for me. Like title track wise, it's Spring Day. Easy. I love Spring Day. I think it's a fantastic track. And there's a reason why it continues to chart even now. It's just one of those tracks that I think will probably be remembered forever in the Korean music industry, and potentially in the music industry as a whole. Like, it just is just one of those songs that is a classic. If we kind of transition into solo songs, Layover. The whole album. It's Layover. I think that album is so special. I am completely biased, right? Like it's B and it's jazz and R&B, and I cannot help myself. It is so good. The other, like, if we move out of that, I think Jin's Happy album is fantastic, fan freaking tastic. Love that album. and RM's Indigo. Like, I guess if I had to pick like one project from each member, it would be V Layover, Jin Happy, RM Indigo, Sugar D-Day, Jimin's Muse, Jungkook Golden. Golden's just a fantastic pop album, and like the MJ inspired nature of that album is dope. And Friday, or 7, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 7 days a week. 7 is just so unbelievably catchy. Oh. Anyway, Golden, and then for J-Hope. J-Hope's is interesting because like I tend to bounce around between his first project and his last project. The middle one I do like, but is less to my taste than Hope World and Hope on the Street, right? Like, is that, I think, Hope on the Street? Yeah. Because like Hope on the Street has some really, really good ones. I think for me, What If, and Lock on Lock were my two favorites from that album, and from Hope World. I think it's I like Airplane. I do like Airplane quite a bit. Yeah, I like Airplane from well, no, Piece of Peace, Pop Part 1. Yeah, Piece of Peace Part 1. Yeah. That's the GOAT from J-Hope. If I had to choose individual songs from those projects, we'd be here all night. But like, I do want to highlight as we're going through this, because like you could probably see the screen as I'm digging through this information here, is that like the amount of work that the Discord put into setting up this deep dive is ridiculous. We've done deep dives before, we've had these planners before where other people have helped us out, and I think this might be one of the more complicated ones that we've done in a while, and certainly one of the biggest ones we've done. And I really want to make sure that people understand that I had almost nothing to do with this. I set up the structure of how we were going to organize it, and then you guys just went crazy with it and really put together like so much content that made it so easy for me to do these videos, and I am so appreciative. Like, when we first started doing deep dives, I would dig around for videos and try and find them myself, and I would oftentimes spoil myself or get performances that like fans just weren't interested in or didn't care about so much. So to have you guys like who already really understand what the best things to consume are in terms of these lives, like seriously, thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, good day. I've probably rambled on enough here at 34 minutes, but I really don't want to end it. Just because I don't like putting the finality on it, right? Obviously, like I said before, we're not done. But like, It's been like a third of the year, right? Like a third of the year has been all about BTS. And it's going to be interesting moving forward from this. I cannot wait to see what their new music ends up like. I can't wait to see what other suggestions you guys have to check out in the post dive. We have, speaking of the planner, we have collab performances, we have cover performances, we have OSTs, we have variety shows, other miscellaneous videos. We have like so many so much variety content to get to, and reality series to get to, and all sorts of great stuff. So like I do hope that you guys stick around to hang out with me for even more of this. And I want to say, as a freshly minted army, love you guys, like really do. I think you guys have proven yourselves to be extremely kind and generous, and I hope you continue to be that way. And I hope that, like, maybe if you'd like, stick around and check out some other stuff on the channel. We're absolutely going to continue more BTS, but like I would love to hang out with more of you all the time. So till next time, love you. Bye.